houses over. It's probably crazy.
Yeah, he might not sell well if he's got that lake.
Closer to your house. That big lake.
No.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. My name is Richard Mandel. I represent Richard Mandel Golf Architecture. We're glad to be here. We're going to talk about your future golf course. Real quick, the district's goal for the golfers of Boca Raton, according to the information you've shared with us, just to highlight some of that: a new facility to replace the existing golf course, a public golf course with a private club atmosphere with a desired opening of 2020, developing a world-class golf learning center, a first-class level of maintenance and play, not too difficult for beginning golfers, yet not too easy for serious competitive golfers. And that's a key sentence that we'll all have in our minds as we go through this process. Our goals for the golfers of Boca Raton are to create a classic municipal challenge that will capture the residents' loyalty and attract visitor golf. So on December 12th, I walked the site of Ocean Breeze and noticed a few things. I want to point those out. That are the attributes of the Ocean Breeze site. Number one, there are some aspects of core golf in it. It's not just completely double line, double loaded fairways. So you have some core golf, which will allow for some rerouting opportunities to improve the golf. You also have some great natural ponds that have been there a while, that sort of have a peaceful setting, would be a nice attribute of the golf course, as well as a few creeks that run through the golf course as well, that with some rerouting options, they can become very strategic, a little more strategic than they are right now. In addition, great mature trees, grand oaks on the site, and also some decent buffer between the edges of the golf hole and some of the surrounding residential development. Learning center is an aspect of this project, and some of those considerations are, to us, that the limitations on the existing driving range does not make it conducive to a world-class golf learning center that can attract a marquee brand. It's just not long enough. The existing driving range is only 250 yards long, whereas the minimum length for a range with a single tee should be 300 yards and a double tee is 330 yards. So it's a challenge to create the driving range where it is and expand it from what it is right now. And reconstituting the tennis courts and parking will not provide enough area for a world-class short game area. We also went and visited the existing Boca Municipal Golf Course because we want to see what the golfers are leaving. And we want to try to see if there's value there that we can recapture in the future golf course. So we went and talked to a few people, and what did they tell us? They said they would want a golf course that's playable, give a player a chance to get on in regulation. And it's a simple thought, but golf architecture in the last 30, 40 years has gotten so difficult that the majority of golfers don't have that opportunity, that simple opportunity. Gayla Veter is a golfer out there, and she wants a golf hole where the holes make her feel successful, a comfortable golf course that promotes success. That's a great line, and we don't really think about that a lot as well, but whether you're a single-digit handicap or just beginning, enjoy the game of golf. Part of it is maybe giving them opportunity to be successful. So Ocean Breeze didn't make it as a golf course for a variety of reasons that we're not privy to. But if we look at the site and we talk about things, there are some mistakes of the past that we would try to avoid and we would consider in our design work. Building a golf course based on marketing aesthetics is a recipe for failure and is the #1 reason why the golf industry has suffered so much over the past decade. The driving range currently at Boca Municipal is 300 yards long from the back tees barely. So it's a little small, and that might be why revenue is down in the past. So we don't want to go to Ocean Breeze and create another range with that same issue. We believe the best solution should not include 27 regulation holes. And so 9 less regulation holes, an 18-hole course, and 9 other holes would help only improve the supply-demand challenge in the Boca Raton market. We also want to make sure that we minimize maintenance. As outlined in the National Golf Foundation study, net operating margin may only be 15 to 20% based on the high operating costs of the market. So we have to be extremely careful as we go through this process to make sure that maintenance is very efficient. Most importantly, the focus must be golf for golf's sake. Great golf is what will produce revenue. Great golf that is experienced by somebody like Gayla, as well as somebody who might be a single-digit handicapper. They can have success, fun, enjoyment, but still the golfers that need the challenge will be there. I'm a firm believer that a golf course can and should be all things to all players. So we did not go through a routing process, a design process, because that's not what your request was. Your request was you had specific questions. We answered those in our proposal. We're going to try to answer those right now. That said, talking about the site, we feel that 18 holes to the west of Northwest 2nd Avenue is where it should be, and then another 9 holes or something else to the east would be better. And so what we have here is a 50 station range, driving range to the northern portion, where if people hit their facing to the north and they slice, the majority of golfers slice, it won't go into the condos. Between there and the light blue is a short game area of 7.5 acres, which can have all sorts of things. The Himalayas green, numerous short game opportunities there. And then rerouting the roadway to a learning center, a separate building, and plenty of parking for whatever might happen to this right side. And the remaining acreage, 24.5 acres or so, can be a 9-hole short course. So that way you have almost 2 different things going on. And the reason that we're proposing this idea is to keep golfers who are coming to play the 18-hole golf course from having to traverse from the west to the east. No matter how great your golf course might be, if you have to cross that road multiple times, that's going to take away from the experience, and they might force golfers to go somewhere else. And I think that's a big reason why Ocean Breeze suffered. So, cost considerations. At the Ocean Breeze site, all the golf course features need to be rebuilt, as their life expectancy has run its course. The district shall create a facility, though, that does not alienate the primary market of Boca Raton. The municipal loyal golfers, in the attempt to create a golf course that will attract visitors, have to take care of your people at home. Whereas rounds derived outside of the Boca area are important for the success of the project, local play is what's going to sustain this facility. And so we need to design for the locals, first and foremost. So our goal, again, for the golfers of Boca Raton, is to create a classic municipal challenge that will capture the residents' loyalty and attract visitor golf. The focus must be on golf for golf's sake. Now, we've got a proven track record of our recent work that has demonstrated this from Minnesota to Cape Cod to here in Florida. Number 1, cost control. We've been very busy over the last decade, and one of the reasons is because we have a reputation for cost control methodology. When I'm working on a design, I have 2 computer screens. No notes from you architects in the room. I've got 2 computer screens going, one with AutoCAD and one with a simple Excel file. And as I design, I can see how much money I'm spending for my clients. How many bunkers, how big my bunkers are, how big my greens are. If we need to add a pipe here and change the length of it, we're constantly updating our cost estimates. So we're always in control of our costs. And you control costs before you get out there with the dozers running. It's very easy to do. We have quantities in the early stages. We have detailed quantities that help us to maintain cost control. So a few examples of that, of municipal golf courses that we've done recently, of cost control. Bacon Park Golf Course in Savannah, Georgia, back in 2015. It was done in 2 separate 9s over 2 years. Bottom line is, the first year we came in 3.3% under budget. The next year we came in 13.9% under budget by going through that cost control methodology. When I'm on site, I have a sheet of paper that has quantities. And as I make changes in the field, if we decide to add a bunker or take away a bunker, or we decide to add more square footage to a putting surface, we're going to try to take away square footage on a putting surface square footage somewhere else out there. So when we leave, there's no net gain. It's very easy to constantly add. But when you add, you also want to subtract as well. Another example is Keller Golf Course in St. Paul, Minnesota, another municipal golf course. And there we finished just over budget at 1.6%. And the reason was that we were doing so well in controlling costs, the client said, let's put in a retaining wall along one of the holes. And so they decided to do that. And then a third project that we did back in 2005 for Erie, Pennsylvania. an old classic A.W. Tillinghast golf course, where we came in 10% under budget. So we have a track record of municipal work in the last 10 to 15 years of cost control methodology. So I'd like to introduce my team real quick. Again, my name is Richard, and Brian Ross and Phil Pasterno are with me as Richard Mandel Golf Architecture. And we've got our landscape architects slash surveyors slash civil engineers, Kimberly Horn, Jason Weber, and Jonathan Hay. And their office is 10 minutes from Ocean Breeze. We also have Myrling Boskin, who represents AW Architects. Jim Williams will be the principal on the project. His sister is sick, and so he had to fly off to Chicago. But Myrling's office is 5 minutes from the site. So we have local representation that are right there. So what sets Richard Mandel apart from others? Cost control methodology is number one. It's our experience in municipal golf as well. As many of the people that you've interviewed already, we've all been in the business a long time. Most of us are all members of the society. I'm a licensed landscape architect since 2000. I'm a certified arborist since 2008. There are only 2 golf course architects in the world that are certified arborists, and one's in the room with me, and that's us. So, done a lot of writing over the years. I love to write about golf course architecture as well. So, what I'm going to show you is a list of our project and our work, and what I want to point out is our experience and what that experience is. It's relevant experience. Here's our work in the last 15 years on the municipal side. 10 projects in 7 different states, from North Carolina, Florida, Minnesota, Georgia, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Maryland as well. And we've won some awards with those as well. And we've won awards spanning 3 different decades, way back to 1996 to as recently as 2017. And so we have won awards and beaten out projects that have sometimes had 2 or 3 times the budget that other people have had. And so we're really proud of being able to do something for a lot less than other golf course architects do. It's very easy to spend money. Great golf course design shouldn't cost a lot of money. It's bad design that costs a lot of money. So, again, back to relevant experience. We can tout all sorts of projects, but we want to tout projects that are relevant to municipal golf and relevant to the Boca project. And here are a list of 7 or 8 projects, and these are the green fees for the projects after the project started, or after we finished the project. Affordable golf is what that is. So when we do a project, we're thinking about who the golfers are and how they're going to play and what the cost ramifications are going to be. We don't have projects that were once affordable and then we went and spent $10 million and then all of a sudden we eliminated the local golfer. So we have a track record of great golf course projects that are still affordable after renovation. So what else sets us apart? Playability. We're all about fun and enjoyment and playability. Not that my cohorts aren't, but we really focus on fun golf more so than challenging golf. And I mentioned earlier that we are, our design philosophy is based on, it can be all things to all golfers, whether you're a 30 handicapper or a 3 handicapper. And one of the ways we do this is through tee shot distance equity. And tee shot distance equity is a concept that I developed back in the about 1997, 98. And in a nutshell, because we're pressed for time and you've been here listening to other people all night, I won't get into too much detail. It's in our proposal, but tee shot distance equity is basically laying out tee boxes so that all golfers get the same experience. Not just that all golfers hit it from their respective tees to 150 yards from the green, because at that point, equity ends. I can hit something from 150 yards, Justin Thomas can hit something completely different from 150 yards, and Justin Thomas's grandmother can hit something completely different. So we look at it a little differently. We sort of design backwards in that sense. And what we try to do is we've studied, you can see here a list of ranges of miles per hour, how far people hit, or how fast people hit golf balls, what their swing speed is. Which is a better way to look at golfers as far as their talent levels, distance-wise, instead of handicap. And everybody sort of falls into a certain category. For instance, a 20 to 30-year-old female hits the ball usually from 75 to 79 miles an hour. So what we do is we sort of work backwards from the green towards the tees and situate our tees. We really have alternate landing areas, and we situate our tees so that if everybody plays from the right set of tees and hit their average tee shot, then at that point, they won't be in the same spot, but they'll all have the same club. So you truly have tee shot distance equity, where instead of everyone hits it from 150, everybody might have a 7-iron from different spots. And so that way, people can have equal challenges and equal experiences as well. So, and here's just a quick example of how it is. Player 1, who might hit it 270 yards and hits it a 180-yard 5-iron, that's where they would be. And then player 2, somebody who might, in red there, he usually hit it 200 yards, and at that point, he'll have a 153-yard approach. So they play from different tee boxes, but they both have a 5-iron in place. Now, another element of our design process comes to strategy. And if I was to create a bumper sticker and promote my design philosophy, it would be one phrase, and this is it. A hazard should challenge the golfer, not penalize the golfer. So I want you to look at these two drawings here. And drawing number 1 is a typical golf hole with 4 sand bunkers, 2 on each side. And what that shows, that's typically of what design has been in the last 30 or 40 years. Aesthetically pleasing sand bunkers, beach bunkers, whatever you want to call it, waste areas could even be. Bottom line is, it might look pretty, but the golfer has one choice and one choice only, to hit it from the tee in between those bunkers. If the golfer fails in that, then the golfer will be in sand. So these bunkers penalize the golfer, okay? Now take this example to the right. And this is just, again, conceptual. I'm not necessarily promoting putting a sand bunker in the middle of a fairway, although I've done it many places, and I'll show you some pictures. But the bottom line is here, a bunker in the middle of a fairway, as long as you have enough width on both sides, 1 bunker versus 4 strategic choices versus 1. Golfer can hit it short, long, left, or right. So that bunker, you stand on the tee with a bunker in this situation, and you think, where am I going to hit it? What's my advantage? What's my strategy to shoot my lowest score I can possibly have? And I've got 4 options, whereas here you only have 1 option. So what this says is we don't utilize a lot of sand bunkers and a lot of hazards in our design work because you just don't need a lot of sand, plain and simple. And a golf course here in this market where money's, being smart with your money is important, you don't want to go overboard on sand. So I want to show you 5 of our projects. We're calling them 5 iconic municipal projects. And these are the biggest municipal projects, I think most people would argue, east of the Mississippi in the last 4 or 5 years. Keller Golf Course in St. Paul, Minnesota, 16 bids. Bacon Park in Savannah, 15 bids of architects. Braemar in Edina, Minnesota, 28 different architects bid. Bobby Jones in Savannah had 9 bids. And Tanglewood Park Championship Course outside Winston-Salem, North Carolina, they had 15 bids. And I'm going to show you each of these projects. And these are all our projects. We won all 5 of those projects. And we've been about as busy as can be in the last decade because of some of the philosophies I showed you there before, because of our ability to control costs. And we know we can do it for you, the district here in Boca Raton. But they're iconic projects. Keller has had PJ Championships, LPGA events, PGA Tour events. Wherever we are very customer service oriented. So I brought my guys here. I brought a bunch of other people here to let them talk to you about Richard Mandel Golf Architecture. Happened to win a few Renovation of the Year awards, but here's some important numbers. The project was done in 2012 and 2013, and based on 2011, you can see the numbers in red, they've made money. So we can do a project, we can tout awards, we can talk all about controlling costs. And then when I start talking about strategy and what makes golf fun, well, how does it play out 3, 4, 5 years down the road? Well, at Keller, they had 23% increase in 2014, 36 in 15, 25 in 16, and 31 in 2017. A project that came in at budget. And also, credit Mandel for balancing the desires of the regulars with a realistic look to the future. Tradition won over convention, to which we say power to the people. And that's from Golf Magazine. And the hope there is to have an LPGA event in the next few years. We are very involved. We have golf. We do a good job. We do a really good job. But our jobs only get better when we work with the local golfers. And we have a track record of that. And Tim Valento is the club president at Keller. I always believed Richard's goal for Keller was to give us a golf course that would appeal to all golfers. After playing several rounds on the renovated Keller, I believe he gave us a great course for all levels of golfers. Bacon Park, site of the Savannah City Amateur over years, under budget. Thank you for working hard to preserve our construction budget and maximize the work the contractors perform for the city of Savannah. The golfers have truly enjoyed the air you've breathed back into Bacon Park since it reopened last fall. And this is a old Donald Ross golf course. They don't have numbers, they haven't really shared numbers the last few years because they've been pretty busy, and the guy that works on the numbers is just a little slow at getting stuff for me. So all I have are numbers from 2013 and 2014. And this is just numbers after the front nine, and you can see that things went well. There's a 41% increase in revenue there. The dramatic changes are the work of a genius team. Donald Ross will be proud to see his work improved. I'm truly impressed with how much was done with so little. And then a couple quotes from golfers, because they are who we're doing this for, is the golfers, the local golfers, as well as any visiting golfers. But again, the local market is who we want to make sure we satisfy with any work we do. And they're very happy with what we've done there. More enjoyable for the amateurs, but from the tips offers a challenge for the lower handicappers. Rob Briscoe, I've been an ex-golfer for 41 years, but maybe mixing golfing with my tennis in my recent retirement. Hard to believe how good the tees, fairways, and greens are. Practice your chipping and putting, the greens are huge. That's good as far as spreading out wear and tear. Braemar Golf Course, site of a PGA Tour Championship called the Minnesota Golf Classic and the USGA Women's Amateur. Currently, we're under construction. We have just a month of work to go in May of this month, but we're currently under budget on the project. And the general manager of the new golf course, Richard, did a fantastic job in listening to the suggestions of our constituents, staff, and patrons while designing a new golf course that will be enjoyable for all ages. So this is a great project on the permit side. We went into a state that we don't do a lot of work in, but the way our philosophy is, we got permits in record time. And basically, in a nutshell, our philosophy is we will look at the site to guide us. We will not place our design on the site. We will allow the site to tell us what the best design is. And so we had a really good run through permitting there. And the golfers are very excited about it. And it's projected to open this fall. Another course, Bobby Jones Golf Club. We're working for the city of Sarasota, Florida right now. And part of our team is Kinley Horn that you have here today. And I neglected to mention AquaTurf International, who is our irrigation consultant for this project. They're also working with us at Bobby Jones. And this is a real challenge because of not just listening to the golfers, but the environmental challenges as well. And we're doing a lot of work environmentally on that. The the commissioners just voted to approve our master plan, and we're working going towards construction drawings in the next few months here. A lot of it is increasing floodplain capacity, creating native pond buffer grasses, native grass areas, and creating wetlands as well. Our last project I'm going to show you is Tanglewood Park Championship Course, site of the 74 PGA won by V. Trevino, as well as a Publix Championship and a longtime home of the Senior PGA Tour Vantage Championship. And the plan is in 2019 or 2020 to return to Tanglewood, a classic Robert Trent Jones golf course, for a senior event. Not until after we renovate their bunkers and restore their bunkers. We go to construction on May 14th. Our bids came in under our estimate. Philip, this is the best looking bid tab I've ever seen. Thanks for your work on this, exactly what we needed. Obviously we don't have quotes from golfers yet, but that right there just tells you that at Richard Mandel Golf Architecture, every step of the way, we want to do the best job possible. And so the bids came in, we did a bid tab, we do our job, and we take pride in that. In such an obscure element of a project, it's important that we do that. So, real quick, there are other quotes here that are that are in there, but what sets us apart? Ability to produce award-winning facilities on budget and on time. We listen to our clients and work to meet their expectations. Every site we go to, every project we work with, we do course walkthroughs with golfers. We do course walkthroughs with staff as well. We have the skill to create memorable golf courses for golfers of all abilities. Marlene Rupp, women's golf group at Erie Golf Course. Anyone who hires RMJ will be overwhelmed with the positive comments. The course is so much better than it used to be. It makes more sense and plays better. Design is a real simple process. And throughout the process, throughout the design and construction process, we'll be on site and we'll be constantly working with not just staff, but golfers as well. Engaged and accessible to the district from start to finish. So, in closing, we're from North Carolina. We've got a bunch of Florida architects here. It hasn't stopped us. We have a project in St. Petersburg, Florida as well. Everywhere we go, we've competed against locals and we've had success in beating out those locals with all the respect in the world to those locals. They hire based on who the best person for the job is, not because of any other reason. And so we're proud of that. We have one other project in Fayetteville, North Carolina for Methodist University, a very respected golf course with a great university with a great PGM program and great golf teams. So we have some experience in working with golf teams and universities as well. So glad to answer any questions.
You want to go first? What kind of timeline do you see from start to finish, assuming you get the bid?
So I think that the 6 or 7 month time frame is very easy for us to achieve in order to get all the construction drawings done, working with our engineers and moving towards permitting as well. We have no problems with that. We've had many more demanding timelines than that. For example, a project called Orangeburg Country Club in Orangeburg, South Carolina. We got hired on June 15th. Don't do this at home, by the way. We started July 15th, we opened October 31st. And I'd like to say that it actually, the golf course Raiders panel of South Carolina voted it the #1 renovation of the decade of 2005 to 2015 in the state of South Carolina. But don't speed up your time frame based on that.
And what's your availability?
Well, we will be down here at least every other week for a day or two. If it's necessary to be here once a week, we'll be glad to be here once a week. It's not necessary though. We're very detail oriented. Our construction drawings are very detail oriented. We think things through, and when I put something on paper, we've already thought that we know that it's going to work. And so when we show up at a project, if you were to say, here's our final result, okay? With our details on day one, we're here and we only need to go here. And that allows us to go here. As opposed to others that might do minimal drawings, they've got to figure this all out. So right off the bat, we have that advantage. That said, I'm on site painting bunkers over and over again, addressing issues that we need to. But the bottom line is you really don't need a golf course architect there all the time, because we're just going to get in the way. Honestly, you know, if you let golf course architect get out there without a leash, just fooling, you know, looking at things, we're going to fiddle, and fiddling costs money. You know, sorry guys, man. So
who's your project manager?
I will be the project manager,
Okay.
and Brian as well.
Or on-site? Do you have an on-site?
We have on-site shaper that would be project manager. He can work in many ways. He's worked on 4 of those 5 projects that I showed you there, and he's our shaper. He and I worked together. He worked with me at Orangeburg, and so we can work many different ways with you. You can hire him as part of us. You can hire him separately and have him be your project manager, your representative as well. So there are many ways we can work with you on that. But he would be on site as our shaper.
Your credentials say, you know, you're everything about every place but Florida. So do you need to be licensed in Florida in order to do these projects?
My plan is to be a licensed landscape architect in Florida. I'm licensed in North and South Carolina and the state of Minnesota, and I'm in the process of getting my licensure in Florida. There's an exam we have to take. So my plan is to be a licensed landscape architect and pass that exam. But that said, we have licensed landscape architect right here, Jonathan, and a civil engineer, and they can do the drawings, and they can stamp the drawings, and that's all the licensure that you need. That said, I'd like to achieve that myself anyway, regardless of what happens here tonight.
In the one drawing that you had, the driving range was on the east side,
Mhm.
and you said 330 yards is optimal length for a driving range. Is that,
For a double D, yes, it is.
and that would fit in there?
Yes, very comfortably. You've got a lot of land. You know, that road, as you come off Northwest Second Avenue, is a straight shot. And it doesn't mean that it has to go straight into the property. There's room for it to go left or to right. So you can manipulate that area so that you can get things separated. And so you can have plenty of land to the south, like we have 24.5 acres for a short game, for a short course, and then other land to the north of it. And there's plenty of land for a 330-yard double-sided range.
But what's your overall view of the hotel and Learning Academy?
I have no view on the hotel. That's really, there's nothing, you don't need my view on the hotel. I appreciate you asking, and I don't mean to sort of give you a cop-out answer, but the hotel's not our issue. Our issue is the golf course. Now, because if you build a golf course, if you build a hotel, there'll be golfers there. What we're going to design for you, regardless of the hotel existing or not, is what we think is the best yield for the property. Based on what we've read with the National Golf Foundation and the local market, what we think is the best use of the property for the local golfers as well. Like I said, low handicapper or high handicapper, it's going to be fun, enjoyable, and playable. And it's going to be memorable enough. Iconic municipal golf course. There are people that come from all over to play these kind of golf courses, and the projects we have fit those descriptions. And so people will come from elsewhere to play this golf course. As far as the Learning Academy goes, that again, whether it's you guys running it or somebody else running it, it really is not my call. But I think the east part of the project can have all that stuff I showed you is a perfect place for something like that. I think that it would be best to have at least your primary focus, your 18 holes, in such a way that you're not having to cross Northwest 2nd Avenue.
So, one question. So you don't have an architect on your team for the clubhouse?
We do.
You do?
AW Architects,
Okay.
Marlene Boskin, they're 5 minutes from the site.
Okay, so that's just for the clubhouse, but if we decided to do some sort of community building on the east side, they would be able to do that as well?
Yes, they can do anything you need to do. And we are proposing a separate building, separate parking, all on that east side.
Okay.
They're architects, building architects, they've got a lot of clubhouse experience laid out in our proposal, and they're 5 minutes from the site.
What the heck, I got one question.
We're running out of time, let's go.
In your presentation, it said that it'll be a difficult challenge for the district to replicate the core golf experience currently residents currently enjoy at both municipal. What, in quick terminology, is your core golf experience that we would have a hard time replicating?
Core golf is basically a golf course that is one area that doesn't have interruptions by other things, such as commercial development or residential development. So like at the Boca Chica site or Ocean Breeze site, it's broken up by a lot of residential development. You've got 3 different sections, and some of those golf holes go between homes on both sides, like the 9th hole of the North 9 is got road on one side and homes on the left side. Whereas at Boca Municipal, it's all golf. So, but you have opportunity to create some of that core golf.
Thank you, Mr. Mandel.
All right,
Appreciate your
thank
time.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
coming in.
everybody.
Good night.
Appreciate it.